Hello, friends. Welcome to my YouTube channel, Dr. J Official. I'm Kutub Jamali, psychiatrist working in the UK. And today we are going to talk about qualitative study. I did talk briefly about it in my first video, Research Ideas and Methodologies. So you can watch it over here on my channel. So today, we will talk about the practicalities of qualitative study, the sampling methods and content analysis, and I'll share my experience of doing a qualitative study with you all. So when you think of qualitative study, it is different from quantitative study, where there are specific methods of collecting data, and then you're kind of quantifying that and analyzing it based on the numbers you have. But when it comes to qualitative study, it is about trying to identify the themes coming from the data, and the data is not in numbers, it is mainly descriptive, and you're trying to pick up common themes coming from that. And the sampling method, the collection of data, is also different from the quantitative study. In qualitative study, you can be creative with that, but the commonly used sampling methods in qualitative study, one of it is convenience sampling. And this is most accessible to the researcher, which means that, for example, if you're looking to interview a group of people, and it is maybe, say, part of your organization, or an organization which you have access to. So that is convenience sampling. The other method is purposive or purposeful sampling. And that is where a researcher is using their expertise to select a sample. Now, that is, again, a researcher is aware of a particular work happening at a particular organization, and then they would want to use that particular expertise in collecting data. So that is another way of collecting samples or collecting data for a qualitative study. The other is snowball sampling, and that is something like, it's kind of word of mouth, or say, for example, you invited a person for an interview for the study, and then that person contact somebody else known to him or her, and then they signpost you to that person, and then you contact. So it's kind of one contact leads to another. So that is also something which is used in qualitative study. And the other widely used is voluntary response sampling, where people volunteer themselves, and that is something we've noticed when we circulate a questionnaire online, for example. So when you're circulating a questionnaire online, so if you've sent it to to a group of people, they can share that link with others, and that's how you're able to collect the data. So these are the commonly used sampling methods in qualitative study. And I will share an example with you, the qualitative study which I did, where I kind of used all four of these methods. And again, it's not it's not mandatory that you only have to choose one method out of these. You can use multiple methods, as long as you're getting the data you need, and that data gives you the question you're trying to find an answer to. So what I will do is, now I'm going to share my study I'll put the link of this study in the description box. So this study was about dementia awareness among general public and clinicians from a non-mental health background. I was trying to understand the level of awareness of dementia among obviously general public and clinicians who are not from the mental health background. You can read upon how this idea came to my mind, and you can go through the study. However, I want to straight away get into the method here. So what I did is I circulated a questionnaire link online using social media, Facebook, and it was designed in such a way that it was easy for people to understand. And then I also circulated this questionnaire in dementia support groups. And the inclusion criteria here was the carers for people with dementia, and that was clearly mentioned in the questionnaire. So the way I collected this data was circulating the questionnaire online via social media platforms, and also sending the link to the questionnaire to local support groups, and that is where you. So like if you were to go back again to the sampling methods, circulating questionnaire comes under the voluntary response sampling, where you're circulating that questionnaire. Again, it also falls under convenience sampling, where you know that these are the places where I can circulate these questionnaires. And also it is convenience sampling, where I'm also sending these questionnaires, the link of this questionnaire to the dementia support group. And again, that is purposeful sampling as well. Why? Because I was targeting caregivers mainly, or family members of a person who has dementia. So again, it was kind of it included voluntary response sampling via circulating the questionnaire online, and also identifying the source where I could potentially send those links, and also why is it that I'm sending this link to dementia groups. That is purposeful sampling. It also includes a snowball sampling, where that link could be then shared with others who is eligible to fill this questionnaire, and which would be beneficial for the study. And then again, it is also about convenience and purposeful. Why? Because I was also targeting people, clinicians from non-mental health background. So the place where I work, we've got a group of psychiatrists and mental health practitioners, but we've also got other specialties there as well in the trust. So I circulated that questionnaire. So again, it was purposeful as well. I knew where I had to send. I knew the target participants, but also it was convenient for me, because it was from the organization where I work for. So and then it was about encouraging them to share that link to others who they are, who you think would be useful for them and for the study. So again, it was about snowballing as well, and voluntary response. So that was about the method I used. Now, when you think of the qualitative study, unlike the quantitative, where in quantitative you get, most of the time you get numbers, from whether it is calculating, the incidence or prevalence or risks, or so say odds ratio, or if it is numbers needed to treat, or absolute risk or relative risk, or even if you are doing a meta-analysis, you're plotting a forest plot, or an inverse funnel plot. So again, you're dealing with numbers there. Again, you're trying to identify the response of a particular medicine in that particular group, comparing with a placebo. So then maybe you're using certain techniques to get that research, get that data, which would help you in understanding whether you've been able to achieve that or not. So again, it's all about numbers. However, in qualitative study, it is more descriptive. So the questions you would ask would be very open ended. So the questions I used in my study: what does dementia mean to you? Now again, there is no yes or no answer to this. It is very descriptive, very descriptive. So there was enough space for people to put their points in, and to be as descriptive as possible. Again, then would you consider going for a memory assessment if you were worried about your memory? Obviously, there would be a yes or no answer, but there was a free space there where they could mention more about this. What, according to you, would be the benefits if dementia was diagnosed early? So again, you can describe, you can mention about various benefits. What do you think would be the potential negative outcome for a person after being diagnosed with dementia? Again, it was a free text, a very open-ended question, so you can mention whatever you want, which would potentially answer that question. So it is very open-ended. Now, as a researcher, you've got this. You've circulated the questionnaire. You've got this response, which is very descriptive. As I said, in quantitative study, you will calculate the data to determine the risks or the ratio, or to see whether the data is statistically significant or not, whether it was normally distributed or not, what was the confidence interval, and all that. In qualitative study, what you usually do is you try to analyze the content. So that is called content analysis. And then what you do from that content is you try to extract common themes coming from those contents. And that is what would be the basis and the findings of the qualitative study. So I'll not go into the detail of it, but as you can see, the common themes, which the answer I got was very descriptive. But these were the commonly used words, the themes, the content used by participants who filled this questionnaire. And see, as you can see, what I've done is I picked up those common themes and I've put it here. So I was kind of understanding the awareness of general public and non-mental health professionals. I was not comparing it. It was just I wanted to understand their awareness. And that is how I picked up common themes. And I picked up these common themes for every answer, the 4 questions which I asked initially, and the response I received. And then based on that response, I tried to extract the common themes coming from those. So as you can see, the themes can be a word, or it can be a sentence. So what according to you would be the benefits? So again, you pick up the themes. So as you can see, the common, you can see advanced care planning coming up frequently. So this is how you try and understand the data obtained from a qualitative study. I really like qualitative study because it is, it doesn't restrict you. It is kind of very open-ended. So participants have the opportunity to mention whatever they want, and it is kind of, obviously it is confidential. So what it does is, it's again part of the researcher's job to ensure that you pick up the common themes coming from these responses, and that is what qualitative study is all about. So today we talked about the sampling methods and the thematic analysis of qualitative study. I hope it was useful. Please feel free to share your comments, your feedback. That would be very helpful for me for my future videos. And as promised in my previous episode, that I would do a video on data analysis, and that would be my next video of research data analysis. So watch out for that. Thank you very much for your support, and I'll see you later. I'll see you again. Take care. Bye bye.